Hello to all of you who have probably experienced the painful cut of paper on your fingers. I'm Gabriele Chiapparini, welcome to Small Photobook Cult. Waiting for the Snow is a photo project documenting Polish migration to Brazil and Argentina, 19th and 20th centuries. It explores how promises of land and local policies like Brazilians' need for workers lead to a blended Polish South American identity and how new generations preserve traditions while mixing cultures. Welcome to this new episode of Small Photobook Cult. We are here with Katarzyna and Marianne Wasowska. Hello, both of you. I'm really glad to have you here with me today.
Hi, Gabriele. We are super happy also to be with you.
Yeah, hello, Gabriele.
Hello. I have to say that it's the first time that I record an episode with more than one other people. We are three today, and we are all sick. So it's going to be an experimental episode.
It's like an autumn episode.
It's an autumn episode, 100%. Do you want to introduce quite fast yourself, because we are three, so maybe the people can understand who is who?
Yeah, sure. Okay, so I will begin. I'm Marianne Wasowska. I'm French. I'm born in Paris, and my mother is Polish. She's actually the aunt of Kasia, because we are cousins. And I'm a photographer, and now I live between Marseille and Mexico.
Okay, and I'm Katarzyna Wasowska, and I'm cousin of Marianne Wasowska. But I'm also a photographer, and I live in Poland. And yeah, it's a family story that brought us to this book. We will talk about.
It is. And how it happened that both of you choose photography?
Maybe the question would be more why, that we decided to work together, because we didn't grow up together. Like, we grew up kind of parallelly. We kind of knew each other very late, after our 20s, and when we met and became friends, we found out that we had a lot of things in common, and one thing was photography, but it was also the kind of topics which were interesting us. And Kasia?
Yeah, like, we met before also, but we never got really to know each other. No, but I think it was kind of surprising how much things we had in common, and how many things was interesting for us both, even though we didn't really have chance to share them, during the years. Mm-hmm. But yes, most of it was we got really into migration topics from different perspectives, and later, maybe if we start to analyze it from psychology of our family, that it was actually full of migration. So maybe this unconsciously brought us these themes, no? I don't know.
So let's start to speak about the project, and this topic is going to show up again for sure. So let's start about what brought the project about.
So we were beginning to say that when we began our friendship in our late 20s, we began sharing photography, our interest through photography, and we began to investigate about migration in a photographic way, as Kasia was saying, a bit in a parallel way, from different perspectives. So it was 2015, 2015. And if you remember, it was the year of huge migration arrivals to Europe. And the reaction of our countries were kind of terrifying. So from my side, it was also the year that I was beginning to investigate our family stories, because we were saying to you that it was shaped by migration in the end, as many families of Poland. But we had families in a lot of countries, like in United States, Australia, England, Germany. I was in France, and we had also relatives in Argentina. So I was investigating the Argentina part because I had some connections with the country, and I found this kind of general way of building identity out of my immigration story, like super interesting, and like I was a bit digging into this, like how to build your own identity when you have no land specifically to refer. And Katarzyna had another perspective.
Yeah, for me was like maybe less personal in a way. Like as I have some migrant maybe experiences, but like rather like a seasonal migrant or as like a short term. Like I don't know, like my father was, as many Polish fathers, he was working and mothers was working out of Poland for most of my childhood, but like yeah, from my perspective was more like I knew like basically me, as many Polish families, we have so much migration stories and migration past and migration experiences, especially like in it's really real in the meaning of like after entering European Union, it was basically everyone, it's exaggerated, but it could feel like most of the people just like went to work somewhere. And we know from the history, no, like that there was so many reasons to migrate and to the better for like a better life, that in this 2015 I was kind of shocked that it can be like we can have as a country such a negative attitude towards immigrants and refugees. Like I couldn't like understand it. And as it was also it was the time that like very right-wing government was trying to get elected in Poland, and they were like giving these arguments that why we cannot welcome refugees and migrants. And this was mainly because they were from different climates and different environment. Like basically it was this moment of welcoming refugees from Syria. And yeah, it was the narrative was going like that we cannot welcome people because cannot adapt here as they are from different environment, different climate, different culture. And so it's kind of like in this moment we met these two ideas of like trying to see how the Polish, where did the Polish migrate in kind of like big quantities of people. So like this was a massive migration, which is not really known in Poland still. Like we have this like really well, like we speak a lot about migration to North America, which is like perceived like very prosperity direction, let's say. And
it's a successful story.
Yes, like to have an uncle in America, it's a very cool thing. But we were very surprised that it was a really, really big migration to Brazil and Argentina. And probably because it was mostly like a peasant and rural migration, it was never got so famous, like never got so something to brag about.
But I think it's also the matter of that we know the most the immigration stories which goes to Western area. That if it's immigration story between Southeast or between, for example, Eastern Europe and South, like somehow it remains unknown because it's out of this hegemonic sphere, I would say. So I think it's also one of the reasons why it's not so known.
Yeah, so we thought also that it's kind of like, well, we were kind of struck by the story also, like also in a way that you can see Polish as migrants, as refugees, like hungry and like because they were traveling during the partition. So Poland was under occupation between Russia, Prussia, and Austro-Hungary. And like it didn't exist on the map. So like people were like basically working for the landlords and not having too much for their own survival. So basically it was like opposite, like we found this direction like kind of opposite what was happening at that time. So like people from very eastern Poland going to very different climate and very different culture and very different environment.
So, what was your photographic approach to this topic?
So we kind of had this attitude like, well, it was a very long-term project, no? So I think first of all, we didn't think so much about, correct me if I'm wrong, Marianne, but
Yeah.
like we didn't think so much about how to photograph. We were thinking to kind of research the story and get to know also the many nuances and many perspectives, because in the end it's like, wow, it's kind of 150 years to capture. So, and many context and many political context and many. So I think what we did in the beginning was basically having our minds open for what we find and what we learn, and then we started to use this like approach of like documenting memories in a way that we worked with the communities and we worked with particular descendants of migrants who were telling us stories, and later we were trying to put the memories into the visual sphere.
Yeah, I would say that we didn't think how we will do before we did it. It's kind of merged naturally, in the process itself was very organic. We were investigating and writing to each other, wait, check that what I found, and there's this story, and there is this region, and also it happened like this, that we were researching about many places where Polish migrated, and we found this story which was kind of known in Brazil, Argentina, and this region which is between both countries, Misiones, and also south of Brazil, which is the regions in Argentina and in Brazil touch themselves with one same area. And when we began to research about this, the story we were finding were so crazy and striking that we said, okay, this is what we want to speak about, because also in both South American countries, they were Polish migration waves after, for example, in the period of the Second World War, but the story is completely different. So yeah, we really chose one specific time, which was this end of the 18th century. In the 19th century, I always made the mistake with the century. Yeah, we really chose this migration waves, which happened in the 19th century, because the stories were amazing, no? We began to build our pictures on these stories just because of this, they were already super visual and iconic. And this is how we got to this kind of methodology of making stage documentary, no, which was for me very interesting, because it was a way to build another way of telling stories in a documentary way.
Yeah, I mean, I really like this, documenting memory. It's my favorite two words here.
Well, where did you take these photos mainly?
So it's basically two regions that we covered. One it's Misiones and one it's Paraná. And also these are not only regions, especially in Brazil, that there is a big communities of Polish people, but Brazil, it's just too big to cover everything, of course. Also in Santa Catarina, there is the state which is the bordering state with Paraná. It's also a very big community in Rio Grande do Sul. But yeah, we thought it's we basically made the photos in Paraná and Misiones.
And
which is like separated by the borders, but it's not really like it's still one region, I would say.
And why you choose this specific place?
So I think sometimes in this kind of like, I think there is one part that it's a coincidence, and then there is the other part that it's actually like Paraná has also Curitiba, which is like one of the biggest, like which is capital of the state, and it's one of the biggest Polish city. So it's like basically the Polish, like if you go with the quantities of Polish or like people with Polish roots, it's like the biggest city would be Warsaw, then Chicago, and then Curitiba. No, so it's like this is the capital of Paraná, and Misiones. It's also the most Polish region in Argentina.
So starting from the first part of the book, you can already notice two things, both in this page. One is that your two names are wrote in a different way, slightly different.
Like there is like this Polish letter with the little leg, which you pronounce on, and Kasia had it written in the original way, I would say, and me, I decided to skip it because I am born out of Poland. I will never live in Poland, I think, and so it's complicated to write it when you are outside of Poland. I mean, it's impossible, no? So I stopped to use it. But actually, this is also a way you can recognize a migration story which is originated in Poland, because, for example, like many immigrants in the United States, they gave the name in the ending as a ski, at times with the like different ways to write it. But normally the sky is feminine and the ski is masculine. But you have in the US some women who have as a surname ended in ski. So there is also this these variations which are like kind of symptoms of the migration story of Poland.
Yeah, also according like in the story we tell in the book about the Polish migration to Argentina and Brazil, as the people were moving, they had these very complicated names. We were always asked like, okay, how you write it or how you spell it and how you pronounce it, and the people often didn't even know, as they were analphabets, and like not all, but like many of them, they couldn't write. So like they were registered by the way you like by the phonetic writing of the particular country. No, so like you would have totally different spelling according to the country you were moving to, and this is also something like interesting when we research the archives, because it's always a guess about like which letter refers to which in Polish language, and so the surnames are kind of the puzzle to solve.
And the second thing that you notice is that in all the book you decide to split this landscape between the pages.
I think like the way we thought about the book, it's also a bit like maybe this part is a bit like cinematographic. When you imagine you enter a new place, and it's really hard to capture everything by one gaze. So we wanted to like kind of reproduce this feeling of getting to know the place part by part, but also like wandering by looking, kind of. I don't know if it's like understandable, but so.
And I see it also like way that like you have in the middle of the landscape you have one page which cuts it in two parts. So to see the whole part, you have to make this movement of flipping the page. And in this page, you have like also at times images, and in these images, like you have also an information about the landscape itself. and what you are seeing, no? Like it's kind of a secret layer, like that complements the landscape, but like in a moving way, I would say, no?
Yeah, like in this one that you have the sea split with these white pages with this in
Yeah,
the middle.
exactly. Yeah, like it kind of tells you about the landscape, but in some latent way, I would say.
Yeah, you do it a lot of time during the book, also here. Another thing that I want to ask you about is you decide to start the book with the cover. We're going to speak about it. And the first see that you can, the first thing that you can see is this drawing. What is it?
Like this drawing is it's part of I would say like some under project of this big project which touch the folkloric aspect. So like also researching on this Polish migration and so on, we got to know like the folkloric group dances of Poland, which were like had their suits, like all of this in South American context, like Argentina, Brazil, and so on. Like they had some folk groups which were reproducing the folk of Poland, and for me this was very 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 strange because like I came to think about what is folklore in general, no? Like it's basically popular art and mainly about like based in the rural area where you have like a lot of pictures of plant, animal, which surround the people who produce the images and so on. So to just take it to South America without adapting it I was feeling it kind of strange, but after I saw that the people out of these folkloric groups, which were like also keeping a relationship kind of politic with Poland in these cultural activities. Some people, like by themselves, were keeping these traditions, for example, of wycinanki, which is like a paper cut with the nails and other kind of broderies. And they were mixing this Polish art craft with the plants and animals of their countries like Brazil, Argentina. And I felt this was super interesting because it was creating a kind of hybridation of cultural art craft, and this was making a new form completely out of any geographical context. No, it was the real picture of the identity itself, which was merging there for me. So we began to work with this, like increasing this idea, and it came to be like one of the more important guideline of the project, I think.
Yeah, maybe the only thing I could add here is that what is wycinanki, because it's very insider word I think we use. So like basically it's a Polish word. So it's like, I think in English it would be like cutouts. So it's basically you take a piece of paper and you fold it and then you cut out shapes. And then when you unfold it, it's very symmetrical. So we use it for decorations and like for, like I'm not so good in Polish folklore, but but we could use it for Christmas or Easter or like this kind of, or not even maybe. Okay, maybe you can cut this out, Eastern thing, because I'm not sure. But so basically
it's traditional art craft, no?
It's traditional art craft, and you kind of, it's like the base of it is like that it has these lines of symmetric, because like the more you fold it, the more repetitive the pattern gets. But the patterns aren't like based on the folkloric elements.
And then we can arrive to the cover that you put again inside the book. What is this image and why you decide to use for the cover?
Choice of the cover is always a topic, no? I think.
But what we see in the cover is basically like very typical, let's say, like the Polish descendant farm. So, like the region of Paraná, it's basically known like for its araucarias. It's these like very tall trees, and basically the what we see in the cover again, it's a painting of very typical Polish farm. So we see araucarias, which are the symbol of Paraná region, which also, by the way, had like cutted intensively for the like building Polish settlements and houses, which now they are under protection. Like now it's fortunately not possible to cut them anymore. They are like really special, and they try to like recreate the population, let's say, of the trees. But yeah, we can see like them as like the major element, but also like the look of the houses. I would say it's kind of typical, and then the region, it's very very like wide, and there is a lot of land they were getting. So the farmers like could use like a massive amount of grounds and areas, I would say. So yeah, it's like a typical Polish farm.
And what about the title?
I can speak about this. We chose this title because it's also based on one of the stories we've been told, that the settlers, as we were saying, didn't know where they were going to, and how the land was looking like, what were the animals, the plants, nothing. They were just taking a boat to some unknown continent. And so when they arrived with all their winter clothes, warm, wooden, not warm, woolen, made of wool, and they just didn't know how to fit with the local climate. And actually, they were thinking that in some moments the winter would arrive. Like they were like, okay, it's warm, like it's normal, it's summer, but in some moments the winter will arrive. So they were also working this way very hard and so on to accumulate and get prepared for the winter, and the winter never arrived. So I was thinking this was a very beautiful story. And it was also speaking about kind of I would say the origins, or maybe the origin of the capitalist economy, which is based on accumulation, because it was also a difference between the Polish settlers and locals. Locals were not accumulating goods because they just didn't need to. They knew winter will not arrive, so they were producing in another way, and the Polish settlers were treating them as lazy. And I think, this explains a lot of how, like this relationship to land, to agriculture, to goods, have been shaping our economies.
I can maybe add just that it's not only of course, it's not only like the Polish and like I think it's just this way how you deal with stuff in the cold countries, not like, but it has like a very massive political impact and very big social impact in the context we speak about, no? Because also I think we enter through the title, we enter to this topic of like political context of their arrival and their settlement, which is not very, I would say, clean. Like, and clean, it's a bad word, no?
Like, what do you mean?
Like because I think so when we enter to this topic of like how they were accumulating and how they made like their life more more prosperous, like they had bigger prosperity, but in their own terms. So like, and it's also like the same with German migration and with Italian migration and so on. It's like you bring the way how you treat the land and how you prepare for later in the place that you don't need to prepare for later, no? But it was used very it was used like a racial politics of Brazil at that time and Argentina, no?
Yeah, and also I think nowadays a lot of these Poles who remain living from who like a lot of those Poles who still live out of agriculture are like huge users of chemicals, soja producers. Um, and they have a complicated relationship with the lands in Brazil and in Argentina because actually, like when they arrived thanks to politics, like kind of a deal between the government and private companies. They gave them land which were not empty. They were not belonging to no one. They were belonging to people, like native people in Argentina, slave descendants in Brazil, and also native people. So it was also a conflict from the beginning between them and the new migrants, like Poles or also from other nationalities. But this conflict about land is still alive now. Like, I mean, it's still a matter of of conflict, I would say, because like if you got your land this way, you cannot just accept that it used to belong to somebody and maybe this person should have it back, no? So this is still a topic, yeah.
And even in this in from this perspective that like you were given the land from the state, that it was not it was the state that was providing you this land that was pretend to be inhabited, no? Like, so it's not like you like it was kind of a settler strategy, kind of, that we maybe now we are more familiar with, like that is like kind of quiet taking over the land by settling it, not by like occupying it in the like direct sense. But in the same time, the situation that they were coming from was also not without meaning here. So, like for the people that were like the promise to have land in that at that time in Poland was like an incredible dream. Like they like it moved them through the ocean. No? Like they didn't even know where is it. I think and most of the people, but like being a farmer with no land for yourself and having this promise of like cultivating for you and your family was strong, was like strong enough to like I guess skip the other part, but also then like put it directly the settlers and the Polish like migrants and then later Polish descendants in some very very like inside very racial politics of the country.
Yeah, because it was also the time where like both Argentina and Brazil were building their modern state, and they wanted to widen their population. And for example, Argentina was making rankings of the best migrants to welcome, like comparing the different nationalities and so on. And in Brazil, like they were in this step that they the slaves got free, and they needed to have like new workers, and they wanted those workers to be white and to take part of this like a new nation they were building. So this is like also an interesting point, like how modern states built their capitalistic economy from like racial politics. No, like I think you can still observe this politics nowadays, and this link between like economy and racial hierarchy in Europe and in all the Western areas, and maybe in the global West even.
And do you decide to split the book in chapters?
I think it's like the story. It's so complex, and we were working on it for so long that we kind of needed to. Also, like we worked on it together with designer Francesca Tode and with Gonzalo Golpa as like the help of editing, like of narrative sequencing. And we tried to, like, I think the story is so wide and has so many sides, and that we wanted kind of to put at least a bit of structure to help the reader to find, and maybe also not only the reader but us also to find ourselves in the complexity of the issue we talk about. So the
how the chapters works.
So we like to think of it in a way that like we try with the travel part, and where you can find, like, on one hand you travel through space, and it's based also on stories and documents of descendants and stories about their tough travel, I would say. And because it's very alive, this narrative of struggle here, and maybe we could stop on the picture with a wooden case, which could be this part of this maybe introduction to the first chapter. Marianne, you want to speak about wooden case? So I continue.
Yeah, it's one of these striking visual stories we have been told that made us think about this stage documentary strategy. Like many people told us the same story which originated this picture, and it was that many of them had all their belonging in the wooden suitcase, which in Spanish is called baul. And so everything they belonged was there. And in the moment the boat arrived to the new land, and they were getting their suitcase back after the travel, many times they discovered that they had been stolen, and in replacing their belongings, they found just stones that people put there so they wouldn't notice the suitcase is empty. And for many people, it was a real tragedy because they didn't have nothing else, so they it was a big problem, no? And I think this suitcase full of stones, was speaking in a way very, I don't know, very visual, very metaphoric about this kind of migration story, no, which is full of unexpected, complicated episodes, which is not always a happy story, like this.
No, and then also it's this always this second lever that I think here you can see clearly. Like that, this is also why the book is constructed in the way that it's constructed. That you can see this. Like, in one hand, it's like a historic, it's a history that really happened, and it has this historical value of documentary, and the other, it's like this metaphor of a migrant as a kind of vulnerable like individual. No.
Yeah, is there any other pictures that you want to speak about?
Maybe,
Should we?
yeah.
No. Should we, or it's like we are already too long?
No, we have still more time, as you like.
Sorry, Marianne.
You want to stop on the Takuru picture?
Yeah, so maybe.
Where is it? I have to find it.
It's coming.
Here we are.
So like after we have this travel and the baul thing, and then it's this whole topic about getting familiar to the land and using the land as it was a rural migration, no? And then I think this picture kind of represents this entering to this hybrid theme of the project where it makes like where it like that like represents this more complex and more like the relationship with land that makes these two cultures.
Yeah, because like you can see people praying in front of like a kind of a small mountain of ground, which actually it's a ant nest, which in this region is called takuru, and they can be very huge, like kind of super big, because these ants are also enormous, and it's a problem Polish settler had when they arrived to this new continent, that whatever they were planting, the ants were coming and eating it all. At some point they got desperate and couldn't know how to handle it because they just didn't know this insect. They didn't know how to fight it, and they were just ruining all their attempts to have like food. And so they began to pray in front of their nest. And I found this story also so striking in an imaginary way, even like almost animist, but they were Christian. So you begin to have like this mix that Kasia tells about like the culture of origin and like this kind of syncretism which emerges from this encounter with the new land.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we can speak a bit about this one too.
Okay, so like taking like thinking about the previous picture and about that one, I think it can tell you like this is based on the story about how the people preserve their pickles while arriving to and already settling in the this like rather tropical region. So as you probably know, in Eastern Europe, we like do pickles from many things, and this is our way to preserve food for the. Not, I know it's not only Polish thing, but like we are kind of stable in keeping this this way of feeding ourselves in the winter. So, and this works if you like because there is no vegetation in the winter, of course, and it makes you still it makes possible to bring you still a lot of nutrition from the vegetation season. So people took this with them there, and they still continued and still continue until this day doing pickles. But as it was too hot, the fermentation was getting really intense. So instead of like having their pickles to have something to eat in the winter, they had problem of keeping the pickles cold in the good for eating because of the warm weather. So yes, I find this image like one of my favorite. How the keeping the tradition is rather a problem and work to do instead of like actually using it for like pragmatic and survival reasons.
Great. Do you want to add something?
Me not.
No, I think it's fine. I already got too messed up in my...
Well, that's okay. So let's start with the last standard questions. Do you have a specific music that you suggest to listen while watching this book?
Now, just like right now, I cannot think about one. You, Kasia?
Like I have one, but it's kind of, I don't know, we can discuss if to really say it. So there is this two guys like from Parana village and Bracia Szymanek, and they sing. They are kind of famous in the Polish community of like in the interior part of
No, I don't agree with this. I don't know.
Because they do what they do. It's like they sing in a Polish Brazilian. Also, the language is very specific. But also it's very insider thing because like as an English speaker, you would not get the. I think it's only like the Polish speaker from Poland or from Brazil would understand the how funny it is. This is why I say because it's like they use like this sertanejo music of like it's like famous in agriculture regions in Paraná, but with Polish lyrics, but in the it's like a Polish from 19th century in with the like Brazilian influences. So it's like it's a very interesting hybrid, but for not a Polish speaker might be kind of surprising. What is it?
No, I disagree completely. I prefer to maybe if it's possible, Gabriele, to like for me, I would maybe send you a song later.
It's okay, but can I keep this part or not?
Yeah, I think.
Okay. This is important because you said that you completely disagree.
Yes, like I think, like if you look at them, like we can send you the YouTube link. You will understand.
Yeah.
Like they are a kind of a character of this project, but I wouldn't like to look at the book, listening to.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe this is true. No, it's like it can be interesting from some anthropological point of view, and also as a source of like as a source of information about how, because also this is actually the music that now it's kind of alive there, no?
Yeah,
So
like among others also, like
yeah,
no, among like every Latin musics, like which like Polish descendants or not Polish descendants listens in Argentina and Brazil, no?
yes.
Which is also
And
kind
also,
of cool.
yes, and also there are some cool recordings. I looked it up now that are made by this. It's like a project of researching the music of Polish migrants, and they speak because basically what they sing about it's like the fields and so they sing in Polish about fields and being on the field and collecting the stuff and what they grow and what is the weather like. But so maybe this is also nice in a way that you have this kind of Polish village style, but the like what they grow is totally not like very exotic for Polish, no? Maybe I don't know. Okay, I get too much there. We will send you a link and you decide
Okay.
what you think about it.
Okay. Do you learn something during making this project that can help other photographers to do a better job?
Like me, I would say that this new method of work we kind of build up in the process, which was like basing our pictures on tellings, for me was very highlighting because it helps me to solve a problem I had before in some documentary projects in faraway countries from me, from my perspective of my country of origin. That like I always had this ghost of what am I taking to the people and what I am giving to them in exchange? Is it a fair trade? Like, is it not one more project about like some faraway countries for Western people, you know? And in this way, I think we managed to build another kind of relationship with the people who were part of the project, like more inclusive, more collaborating. And I think this also changed a lot the way they can perceive the project and the impact of the project in this story itself. No, so I think, yeah, maybe the matter of the relationship with the people you make the project with is very important, and it's also a dynamic to find. So yeah, it's kind of an exchange, no?
Yeah, for me, I think it's what I learned, and maybe what can be interesting. It's like not to set yourself so much for like the results. So I think what like the results were coming by themselves as we got very into the stories and relationships and like investigation by itself. So the photos came, I think, very naturally out of it. So also, I think the moment of departure of the project, it's so like so different to how it finished. No, like I don't know if you agree, Marianne, but like I don't know, I really had like as we told before, it was the idea got born around this 2015, and I think it was 10 years ago, and our like knowledge about migration and about these processes and about this particular migration was so much smaller than it is now, and I think this is also a big value for like realization of the project, that you learn so much and you get to know very nice people in as Marianne said, in the like in between.
And can you suggest us a book to have in a future episode?
Me, I love, but I love already for some time this book. But I would have to check if you didn't make it yet. Like this Jana Wernicke Companions. It's my latest love, which is not so fresh. By like it's published by Loose Joints.
Nothing else, just one? Or Marianne, do you want?
Yeah, I
to
like
another?
a lot. Yeah, there is a Mexican photographer which I love. His name is Jose Luis Cuevas. He's famous, and he has a book which is named Sobre la resistencia de los cuerpos that I also like a lot.
Great. I'm gonna check for both. And I have a really, really last questions that it's ask yourself a question and give yourself an answer. But because we are three, one of you two can ask something to the other.
Like whatever?
Yeah.
Did you like working with me, Marianne? No, I'm joking.
Yeah, I was thinking about, would you like to do another project together?
I think working together is a complex thing, and I think yes, in some time. So I think as it's a very long, it was a very long process. I think we also need some like time to find ourselves in our new interests also, and like the time goes on, and I think it would be never ending to work on this topic, but there are many topics that are also very interesting. But I think yes, I think it was also very like I think we are kind of compatible in many spheres, and sometimes it was very hard to work together, and frustrating because sometimes it's easier to just do things how you imagine them to be done. But I think working with another person always brings this moment of like space for dubs and other voices, which would not be there if we would work only by ourselves. No.
I think I grew a lot thanks to this collaboration, like as an artist, but also as a I don't know how to say it, like in my way to think of the image, because I think we are complementary in the aspect that Kasia thinks more in the book logic, in the narrative way, and so on. And it's not my case. I like space. I like volume. I think about pictures as like colors, like tones, like like completely different approach. But each approach was needing the other one and getting more powerful thanks to the other one. So this was also like very powerful, I would say. Like I think it was more powerful than what we could imagine, and I would end on this.
So it's a yes or a no?
Yes, yes, in some time.
Okay.
And you?
I think I feel my girlfriend is asking me for a break or something.
Yeah, I also, and because, okay, you can also say if you would work collaboratively again
Me?
in this project.
Like, no, you.
Me? Marianne?
Yes.
Yeah, I think, me, I think yes, but it's true that as we both have our own projects, I feel it's also like for me the time to, see how I integrate this project in the rest of my work. There are things I want to keep working on, so I would like to work on them on my own, but I think we have to keep doing stuff together.
Also, maybe
because it works. Because it works.
Yeah.
And also, I think the book was a very nice moment of like kind of making the summary, and also with help of Francesca and Gonzalo, I think we end like the text writers, because this is also very cool part of the book, I think. Like we managed to kind of summarize all this thinking and talking and negotiating and like
it was useful to have also other people involved.
Yeah, it's always something really relevant and helpful. Okay, thank you so much to both of you. It was a beautiful hour and something.
It was
Thank you, Gabriele.
Thank you.
Huh?
There is someone speaking.
No, like I think it was like it's let's say like the late morning, autumn late morning with Gabriel.
Yeah, everybody sick.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's possible to hear from the voices, but yeah, I'm feeling a bit better after this talk.
Yeah, now we should all get back to bed and wait for the proper winter to come.
Yeah. Okay, thank you so much to everyone. Thank you to both of you.
Thank you.
Pleasure.
And see you soon.
Yeah, see you soon.
Ciao.
Ciao.
Ciao.